Killed by animals, 15 horrifying ends.
This is the only part of the footage filmed by the team of the underwater director Henry Borse in 1964 that I can show you. The rest of the video is just going to be censored by YouTube for being too bloody. The man attacked by the shark was the director himself. He was diving near Lady Julia Percy Island to videotape seals for his movie, but instead he encountered a cold-blooded predator. When Henry's colleagues rushed to his rescue and got the victim out of the water, they noticed that the shark had chewed off his leg. However, such instances don't stop anyone. In 2014, a giant shark attacked a South African submarine. Fortunately, the predator didn't get to the team, who were just observing whales. Yet sometimes humans consciously approach wild animals. They hunt grizzly bears, train orcas, rescue snakes, and adopt hippopotamuses as pets. But very often, they're confident.
Yo, that is crazy. How you this close to a gator, mate? How you this close?
In successfully taming the dangerous animals ends in death. So, who of us is most likely to fall prey to a predator? Even if I get eaten by a shark or croc, the main thing I want is that it be filmed. If I died, I would be sad if no one got it on tape. These words are about the most famous TV naturalist, Steve Irwin. There's no way you haven't seen him. He's the fearless blonde, khaki-clad hero who tells us about dangerous fauna and keeps shouting, "Crikey!" Irwin was nicknamed the Crocodile Hunter. Dangerous fauna and keeps shouting, "Crikey!"
Wait, what is this? Oh, is it a gator in a net?
Irwin was nicknamed the Crocodile Hunter, but in actuality, he saved animals, was a co-owner of the Australian Zoo, and founded a nature conservation foundation called Wildlife Warriors Worldwide. Numerous parks, zoos, streets, a ship called M.Y. Steve Irwin, a snail species called Crikey Steve Irwini, and even an asteroid 57567 Crikey have all been named after him. It's a shame, though, that you can't explain to a wild animal that you're a world-famous ecologist, and you're not going to harm it. On September 4th, 2006, Steve set off to the Great Barrier Reef to record some footage with a deadly tiger shark.
Wait, is Steve the guy that died to a stingray? Isn't it the stingray that, or is that someone else?
Documentary series called Ocean's Deadliest. Irwin dived and spent quite a long time in the water, but so far hasn't managed to track down the shark. Suddenly, he noticed a 2.5-meter stingray and decided to videotape it. The footage was a great fit for another project called Bindi the Jungle Girl. The TV show featured his daughter, who decided to follow in her father's footsteps. In the show, she was supposed to tell other kids about wild animals, so Irwin wanted to help her with the video. The TV presenter held the stingray in his arms. He thought there was nothing to fear since stingrays pose almost no threat to humans.
Wait, how
Most
did they kill
experts
him
indeed view stingrays as docile creatures who attack very rarely and only in self-defense. Most injuries from the bites of the species are localized in the area of ankles and shins, and happen when a person inadvertently steps on a stingray that has buried itself in the sand.
Oh, look at it.
When Steve raised the stingray in front of the camera to get a close-up of the creature, the animal probably felt trapped and stung the TV presenter. Despite being very painful, stingray poison is usually not deadly. For a minute, the cameraman, Justin Lyons, panicked but continued filming. Irwin and his crew had an arrangement. If
the sting isn't normally deadly, how did he die?
After an animal attack.
Oh wait, did it go straight through his heart? Oh, so he just got very unlucky where he got stung. It went straight through his heart. Oh, damn! I didn't know that.
But continued filming. Irwin and his crew had an arrangement. If after an animal attack, which is a fairly frequent occurrence in his line of work, the presenter's physical condition deteriorated, he would give his crew a sign. If there's no sign, there's no need to stop the work process. So having filmed the stingray, the cameraman and Irwin returned to the boat, where it became clear that the presenter was having trouble breathing. As it turned out, the stingray had injected its poison right into Steve's chest, exactly where his heart was. It had never happened to anyone before. Because the stingray had hit a critically important organ, Irwin could not be saved. The fans were shocked by the fact that, despite having worked with highly dangerous animals for his entire life, their idol died from an ordinary stingray injury. Of course, everyone wanted to see Justin's sensational footage.
Yeah, that is crazy, isn't it, chat? Like, the guy who works with the most dangerous animals on the planet dies to a stingray. You know what I'm saying? It's sad he died, and it's sad that he died to a stingray, bro. Like, out of all the dangerous animals, it was a stingray that got him. That's crazy, mate.
Very stingray injury. Of course, everyone wanted to see Justin's sensational footage,
That's
especially
crazy.
since Irwin himself would have wanted this. Nevertheless, Discovery Communications, the network that had facilitated Irwin's career, stated the video can never be shown on television. After the investigation, all copies of the
Jesus.
footage were destroyed, except for one, which, as noted in the official statement,
Wait.
was given to Irwin's wife.
Wait, why though? Why? Because Steve literally said himself, if he dies, he wants everyone to see it. So why don't you follow his wishes, bro? Isn't like destroying the tapes like doing him like bad? Do you know what I'm saying? Like he said himself, if he dies, he wants it to be on tape.
Except for one, which, as noted in the official statement,
They didn't want to make money off his death tape. Yeah, but that's what he wanted. That's what he wanted. Bro, I'd be annoyed, chat. Like, if I was doing something dangerous and I said to everyone, release the tape if I do die, I'd be so annoyed if they didn't do that, bro. You know what I mean? That's like his wish. That's what he wanted.
was given to Irwin's wife, Terry. Rumor has it that she also destroyed the tape without even watching it. Although there is a
Oh, yeah, true.
low-quality
Keep it from
video
the kids,
circulating
yeah.
online called Steve Irwin Last-Minute Video, it's unknown whether the footage is real. The ecologist's death became a great tragedy, but we can't say it had been unexpected.
Yeah, true.
Just like the
James.
obvious result of Timothy Treadwell's exploratory bear hunt in 2003. Timothy set up camp in spots where grizzly bears lived, and he observed them. Some people say they've seen videos of him touching the bears and playing with their cubs. Yet the rangers of Katmai National Park, where
That's
the man
bad.
was a frequent visitor, warned Treadwell that his methods of studying grizzly bears were not only dangerous, but also illegal, since he put up his tents in prohibited areas.
Wait. This guy, wait, you're not going to like bears in zoos. You're going to bears in the wild. He's going to bears in the wild. Yeah, he's fucking nuts. He's nuts, bro.
Very quick.
I knew this was coming. I knew this. Thank you, Buzia. Thank you, dude. Thank you.
Close to the grizzlies. So, in 2003, this bear enthusiast, as always, broke all the rules and went to the part of the park called the Grizzly Maze.
Uh-oh.
This time, he was accompanied by his girlfriend, Amy Huguenard.
Why are you
It was
bringing her
October,
along?
the time when bears stock up on food for the winter, gain fat for hibernation, and act more aggressively.
Oh, you want to do back-to-back?
So many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die.
Nice.
But Treadwell still set up camp not so far from the animals. At some point, the couple stopped contacting their friends and relatives. Then, the helicopter pilot who flew to the area to pick the couple up from the campsite saw a horrific scene from above. Disfigured human remains scattered around the tent. The park rangers were informed of the find and rushed to the site of the tragedy right away. There, they encountered an angry grizzly who had to be killed. The animal's stomach necropsy confirmed that it had mauled Timothy and his girlfriend. A camera was found among their abandoned belongings. It had 6 minutes
Wait. Why did the grizzly have to be killed? Why did the grizzly have to be killed? I don't agree with that. Why did they kill the grizzly? It ate them? Yeah, but it's not... No, I don't agree with that, chat. I don't agree with that. Oh, because he's ate human flesh now, he would like the bear is now at risk to like look out and seek other humans. No, chat, the reason why I don't agree with that is because they went to a prohibited place where grizzlies are and you're not allowed to go. I'm sorry, but like if you go there, the risk is all yours. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you should go. Like the bear attacked you and killed you. You knew the risk. You know what I mean? Like you knew the risk. I don't think the bear should die for that. What you're just killing the bear because it's a wild animal? Do you know what I mean? But if that is true, because the bear's now tasted humans, he will most likely do it to more humans. If that's true, then I don't know. I still don't know. Let the bear free, bro.
Had to be killed. The animal's stomach necropsy confirmed that it had mauled Timothy and his girlfriend. A camera was found among their abandoned belongings. It had 6 minutes of footage where nothing could be seen, but one could hear the frantic screams of people being torn apart by a grizzly bear.
Yeah, it wasn't
Different filmmakers tried to talk the rangers into sharing the video with them to make a movie about the event.
Like, yo, that's like me running into a lion's den, getting mauled up by lions, and now you gotta go kill all the lions. Of course the lions are gonna kill me. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not the lions' fault. They're lions. I don't know. I don't agree. I don't agree with like putting down the bear for that, bro. It's a wild animal.
Real sound footage. However, the park employees thought it was inhumane. Still, the deaths of people in these 2 stories look logical, however horrible it may sound. Such extreme enthusiasts had 0 chances of staying alive. But how more likely to survive are the people who are skilled at taming wild animals?
That's crazy. Why would
the training
you go
of
up to
wild
them?
animals has always raised heated discussion. The people in this line of work usually say they try to ensure the animals are kept in the...
Whoa. Bro, you're slapping a tiger. Now, if you die in this video, I ain't surprised. I ain't surprised.
Usually say they try to ensure the animals are kept in the most comfortable conditions possible to avoid causing them pain and stress. The animals often start to forget their life in wild nature or don't even know about it, being born in captivity. The internet is teeming with viral videos of dangerous animals adorably playing with their trainers and even gladly doing the tricks they've been taught.
That is
But that's
cute,
not always
but
the
I would
case.
not do that.
For example, in this footage, you can see the accident that happened on February 24th, 2010 at SeaWorld Park in San Diego. During a program show, a female trainer, Tamari Tollison, was sitting at the water's edge near orcas named Orchid and Splash. Suddenly, the animals started aggressively pulling her into the water. It was all happening in front of the viewers, many of whom were children. The girl could not break free from the orca's jaws, since each of them weighed at least 3 tons. The other employees also didn't know how to confront the angry predators and save their coworker. But then, a trainer called Robin Sheets came up with a rather risky idea to release another orca into the reservoir. It would seem that if the employees had been unable to reason with 2 orcas, there was no way they could deal with 3. But this orca was a dominant one. It approached Orchid and Splash, gave them some kind of a signal, and they let go of the girl. Tamari's life was saved. Nevertheless, sadly, not all sea predator trainers are this lucky. For instance, in the...
Wait. Yo, W trainer for thinking that, bro. W trainer for releasing another one in there, and he just bossed them about and be like, yo, get off the trainer right now. Bro, very smart.
Same year, a similar situation happened at SeaWorld. This time in Orlando. A trainer, Don Brancho, was assaulted by an orca named Tilikum, who weighed almost 5.5 tons. And in this case, sadly, the girl could not be saved. The park owners said the animals were looked after in compliance with all the standards, and the orcas were friendly to the trainers before that instance. Yet, according to zoologists, when the animals who had the entire ocean at their disposal get locked in the park's limited reservoirs, they receive psychological trauma that can manifest itself at the most unexpected moment. In addition, it's very difficult to control what methods the trainers use and whether they don't.
Yo, you know the orcas, do they have like a big area at sea? Bro, it is kind of sad, isn't it, chat? Like, low-key, bro. It's actually sad that we trap these animals. Like, they're pretty much in prison, bro. Like, these big-ass orcas have the whole entire ocean, and then you just put them in a prison. Not surprised they're going crazy. It is kind of sad. I have been to safari parks and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So like, I do like looking at the animals. But I wouldn't be totally upset if they stopped doing it and just had the animals in the wild.
Don't hurt the animals during training. For example, in June of 2013, a circus employee, Alexander Crispin, was
Hey, amicable, appreciate the prime, dude. Oh, damn, I didn't realize I got alerts on here. Is this gonna have to cut this out for copyright? Sorry, is it? Hey, amicable, appreciate you, dude. Thank you, bro.
running with 2 tigers around the playpen and using a stick to make the animals run in circles. They had already been taught to do this, so it was just routine training for them. Suddenly, one of the tigers decided it had enough and pounced at Crispin.
Oh my god.
The animal knocked the man off his feet and
Oh
continued
my
mercilessly
God.
mauling him. Although
Yo,
the circus
get out of
employees
there.
hit the tiger with a metal stick to chase it away. In the end, Crispin died of blood loss. Even if a trick with a wild animal went smoothly countless times, you never know when things will go awry. For instance, Ali Khan Samsodin was a Malaysian
Damn.
snake charmer who set records with dangerous animals. In the early 90s, he became famous
Hey, amicable, appreciate you stopping by and dropping a sub, dude. You're a legend.
because of practically living in a small room with 400 cobras for 12 hours a day for 40 days. He was dubbed the King of Snakes and Scorpions, since one time he locked himself in a box with 6,000 scorpions for 3 weeks.
Oh, you're
Still,
crazy,
in
bro.
2006, he got bitten by a cobra during one of his shows, and this bite became deadly for him. But how do animals behave with the people who treat them well, or even saved their lives at some point in the past? A farmer from South Africa, Marius Els, was famous because of his pet hippopotamus, whom he used to ride like a horse. Marius rescued it from a flood when the animal was still very young, and then he let him stay in his household. Humphrey, that's how Els called the hippopotamus, responded to its name, ate apples out of the palm of his owner's hand, played with them, and let the man brush his teeth. Just take a look at the teeth of a grown hippopotamus. It can easily chew your arm off. There was talk in the farmer's surroundings that the man treated the hippopotamus not just like an animal, but like a son. Marius didn't consider Humphrey to be dangerous, although everyone else noticed the animal's covert aggression. It attacked cows and even killed one of them. One day, Marius went on a hike with Humphrey and disappeared. Later, his body was found, ironically, in the very same river where he'd once saved the hippopotamus from the flood. Judging from the wounds, the animal had most likely mauled its owner and then dumped him into the water. For some reason, people sometimes think they can replace the mother for young animals. It might work with domestic animals, but not with wild ones. Still, a wolf trainer at Kolmorden Wildlife Park disagreed with this statement. In 2012, a woman, whose name the media chose to keep
Yeah, hippos, man, are dangerous, bro. Dangerous. Was good karma.
undisclosed, decided to visit the den of the wolves she'd communicated with back when they were pups. It's unknown how much time had passed since their last encounter, but her colleagues admitted they occasionally visit even the wild animals of the park.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie though. Wolves are fucking beautiful, aren't they? Wolves are beautiful. Fucking gorgeous, mate. Absolutely gorgeous.
So that they get accustomed to humans. Being sure the wolves would recognize her, the woman set out to see the animals alone and spent quite a long time in the den. When her coworker went to check on her, they saw the wolves tearing the woman's body apart. They barely managed to approach the predators to put them to sleep. The wolves simply wouldn't leave the victim's body alone. Unfortunately, the woman could not be saved. It's important to always remember that wild animals won't behave like, for instance, a domestic dog, who will recognize you after a long time apart.
Yeah, no shit.
First and foremost, the predators see you as their prey. Nevertheless, some people think they can befriend even a python.
Yeah,
Elliot
you're
Sensman,
crazy, mate.
from
You're
the town
crazy.
of Upper Macungie, Pennsylvania,
actually crazy.
spent around 10 years working with snakes. Once, he rescued a boa constrictor from a family who had been cruel to the animal. Elliot took the 8-kilogram reptile home to join the other animals he'd rescued before. But due to the stress experienced at the hands of its former owners, the snake was rather aggressive and not very prone to contact. Elliot's friends repeatedly told him he should find a place for the python to stay as fast as possible, because there was no way he was going to deal with such a huge reptile alone.
Let's go, BB.
But no one wanted to adopt the snake due to its excessive rebelliousness. On July 24th, 2022, Elliot's grandmother, who had come to visit her grandson, saw him immobilized with a python around his neck. As it turned out, Senseman was trying to clean the reptile's terrarium when suddenly the python attacked him. Elliot was trying with all his might to break free while his grandma was calling 911. Soon, the police arrived. They shot the python so that it would let go of Elliot, but it was too late. The animal had choked its rescuer to death.
Oh shit.
Yet Elliot wasn't the only person who came up with the idea to create an entire zoo of snakes single-handedly. For instance, there's the reptile house in Oxford, Indiana. In it, the local sheriff Munson kept 150 reptiles. He caught the snakes, bred them, and even sold them. Laura Hurst shared Munson's hobby, and 20 snakes from the house belonged to her. She paid them regular visits twice a week. But one day, Laura was found unconscious, with a reticulated python wrapped around her neck. Just like in the previous case, the woman could not be saved after the constriction. The police found a photo Laura had taken the day before the accident. This snake is believed to be the one who killed the girl. After a close look at the photo, Munson was horrified to realize that the snake wasn't one of the 20 reptiles Laura took care of. So, she just made a mistake and taken the wrong snake, which was why the animal killed her. We'll never know the truth, but Laura wasn't safe from being attacked even by her own snake. Domestic animals who have lived with their owners for many years can also change their behavior very suddenly. Mike Tyson's...
Hey, yo, I got a very good idea, chat. I got a very good idea. Why don't you just let wild animals be wild? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I think that's an amazing idea.
Bengal tiger, Michael Jackson's chimpanzee, Paris Hilton's kinkajou, Salvador Dali's tame anteater. Today, wild animals at home are not something out of the ordinary. Yet it used to be something celebrities shocked the public with. And ordinary people could become stars thanks to such a pet.
What is
This
that?
is what happened to John Rendell and his friend Anthony Ace Burke. In 1969, they moved to London to open an antique furniture store. But one day, they saw a lion cub in a pet shop.
That is... Wait, at a pet... Wait, they sell lion cubs at a pet shop? What the fuck? Hey, it's beautiful though. It's beautiful. But like, I ain't taking it home.
And had the crazy idea of buying it. Since then, the two friends became famous because they showed up at various social events with their own tame lion. Christian, which was his name, looked like some rock star. He joined them in for convertible rides, dined at restaurants, and drank water from a big porcelain cup. But the lion was growing pretty fast, and the London apartment was becoming too small for this wild animal. Then, John and Ace made a difficult decision to part with their pet and release it into the wild nature. With the assistance of nature...
Wait, I swear he said London. Did he just say London? Because if he said London, first of all, you can't buy wild animals in London. Secondly, you're releasing it into the wild in London, in the UK. Did we used to have wild lions? Where the fuck did you release it?
Becoming too small for this wild animal. Then, John and Ace made a difficult decision to part with their pet and release it into the wild nature. With the assistance of nature conservationists, they transported Christian to Kora National Park in Kenya. Yet, unable to bear the sadness they felt from having said goodbye to their wild friend, the men went to visit their lion, who was all grown up.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Like, fair play them taking it back to the wild. But, yo, I understand why they're upset, bro. I'd be upset. But, yo, isn't taking a, like, once a lion been, like, a pet, taking it back to the wild, isn't that, like, gonna kill it? You know, because it's alone? Or will it survive? Like, I feel like once it's a pet, it's like, fuck then, isn't it?
They didn't even know if he would recognize them. The park employees showed them the spot where the lion usually rested. Soon, the animal came out of its hiding, and having noticed some silhouettes in the distance, the lion suddenly jumped at the two friends, and it became one of YouTube's most famous videos of a wild animal rushing to hug humans. This might be something Sandra Piovison, a wolf...
Wait, oh, so it didn't kill him? Oh, that is actually cute, bro. Like the lion remembered them. Oh, that is cute. Stupid, but cute. Stupid, but cute.
Suddenly jumped at the two friends, and it became one of YouTube's most famous videos of a wild animal rushing to hug humans. This might be something Sandra Piovison, a wolf trainer at Colmerton Wildlife Park, expected to experience. In her backyard, the woman kept cages with 9 wolf-dog hybrids. She also knew them back when they were pups and stepped into the cage to feed them every day. But eventually, the woman was found dead. She had many bite marks and died from blood loss. But not only sharp-fanged predators can attack a person trying to tame them. For instance, Gerald Rushton of East Texas kept a fawn in a kennel. It was fluffy and cute, and even befriended a domestic rabbit. With time, Bambi grew into a red deer, who one day just pushed Gerald into the fence with his horns. Then, the animal started being even more aggressive and attacked its owner.
Holy shit.
It gave the man such a mighty blow with its hooves that he died. And what can we expect from a chimpanzee? It's not very big, has neither fangs nor horns, and if the need arises, it can be dealt with easily. Not to mention that it's our closest relative, and sometimes it's as easy to find common ground with chimpanzees as it is with young children. Or is it? Sandra Harold from Connecticut
Yo, aren't chimps like very, very aggressive?
Pet chimpanzee named Travis, whom she brought up like a small child. The animal became especially important for the woman when her daughter died, followed by her husband. Then, Sandra directed all of her love at Travis. Still, both the woman and the animal suffered from severe depression caused by the loss of loved ones. Regardless of this, Travis even was the star of TV ads, one of them for Pepsi. Although the monkey felt good around humans, there were moments when its mood would deteriorate, and then it would escape from its home. On one such occasion, Sandra's friend, Charla Nash, who also often spent time with Travis, volunteered to help in the search. After she found the chimpanzee not far from Sandra's house, Charla started trying to get the animal to go home with her, luring him with a Tickle Me Elmo doll, which he liked very much. But all of a sudden, Travis went berserk. He jumped at the woman and knocked her to the ground. Travis was hitting Charla with all his might and biting her. Sandra was nearby and saw this happening. Although she loved her pet dearly, the woman realized that now she had to choose whose life to save, Travis's or her friend's. Then the woman grabbed a shovel and started hitting the chimpanzee, but none of it had any effect on Travis. Then she stabbed him with a knife, and he ran into the house, leaving a trail of blood behind him. Sandra called the police, who eventually shot the animal, who was like a child to her. Charla survived, but the chimpanzee broke almost all of her facial bones, deprived her of eyesight, and tore off her eyelids, nose, jaw, lips, and most skin from her head. Her life was forever changed. But if you think that only wild animals can attack you, you're wrong. You need to be cautious around domesticated and household animals as well. In 1991, Carl Hulsey was beaten to death by a 45-kilogram goat in Locust Grove, Oklahoma. For some reason, the man decided he could use a goat instead of a watchdog. While training the animal to protect the house, he often hit it with a stick. At some point, the goat couldn't take it anymore and started hitting its owner back with its horns. The goat gave the man so many sharp blows that his abdomen got torn apart. After the accident, the county authorities decided the goat had to be put down. However, the decision was met with outrage by the locals since the animal had no other choice.
Yo, I've been seeing a common theme with all of these, chat. It's humans thinking they can have these wild animals as pets and friends, and all they're doing is just getting the wild animal killed. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. It's just getting them killed, bro. If they're in the wild, they'll just be living their wild life. You know what I mean? If they die, they're going to die on their terms. Like, you know, the circle of life, Lion King style. Jesus, man.
And it can't be held responsible for Carl's death. So, the goat was just put in a shelter. But some animals can act cruelly, even with no apparent reason.
Why you gonna have a goat as a pet?
In 2012,
Like
Terry
a big
Vance
ass
Garner from Oregon had a heart attack while he was feeding his animals. The farmer fell over the fence into the pigsty. Since these animals are omnivores, they simply went on eating their lunch and everything that was there before them, including their owner. So, as it turns out, it's best to be careful around all animals. No one is
Holy
to trust,
shit.
apart from cats and dogs. They would never. But wait, what do you mean by never?
Well, yeah, they do.
Many dog owners are sure that their beloved pet will not only never hurt them, but if such a need arises, will protect them from an attack. But in 2017, something strange happened. Bethany Lynn Stevens was found in the woods dead, her body mangled. By her side stood her 2 loyal dogs. When the police arrived at the site, they immediately decided the dogs had killed their owner. Although the girl's family and friends didn't believe it, the investigators think the bite marks on her body look exactly like dog bites. So then, we're left with only cats, right? I wouldn't trust them either. In the World Journal of Clinical Cases, there's a story of a man who died from a cat bite. And no, the animal didn't attack its owner. It was a playful bite, nothing more. But in 6 weeks, the man died of a bacterial infection called pasteurellosis, which his cat had passed on to him. So, which animal is still safe to keep at home?
No.
Write your ideas in the comments and subscribe to the channel.
A fucking worm, dude. That's all we can have now, is a worm. That's it.